today I would like to walk you through the process, to walk you through the history of American ballet and the process of becoming a professional ballerina. Ballet history in the United States is relatively short, but the graceful dance form, which started in Italy, eventually grew by leaps and bounds in North America. During the 1930s, they settled in the United States and established dance studios. George Balanchine, a Ballet Russes member, stayed in the United States and confounded the New York City Ballet. So like the Ballet Russes, think about the Avengers, it was kind of like that. So like the top 5 dancers from Italy came to the United States, and they each kind of wanted to learn new techniques, and he was the only one that stayed and confounded the New York City Ballet. Brian Guzman from the New York Times stated that Balanchine's style of neoclassicism charmed audiences with its updated styling and the omissions of plots. Their sudden, quick, and showy legwork combined with slow movements to capture the audience's attention is the reason why it's been around for more than 60 years. More than 600 spectators actually filled the New York City Ballet, and the mission of the company is to perform the best ballets of the past along with the new works. The theater has the largest repertoire of any company. So this is George. He's teaching them as well. So this is New York City Ballet. They actually, when they took this picture, it was really funny because I was reading with the caption, they said that it took them more than 2 hours to get them perfectly still to take the picture. Because every time they took it, someone's facial expression was either wrong or they didn't like the way they were posting it. So it took them more than 2 hours to do that, which I thought was kind of funny. Some quotes that George Balanchine lived by was, "God creates, I do not create, I assemble, and I steal everywhere to do it. From what I see, from what the dancers can do, and from what others do." His second quote was, "In my ballets, women is first, men are consorts. God made men to sing the praises of women. They are not equal to men, they are better." So in many of his plays, women were always the star roles, men were always second to them. And now it was kind of funny because men were actually paid 10 times less than women in ballet. These quotes inspired many dancers, and these quotes are actually written in the New York City Ballet, where more than 100 dancers perform. Now the real question here is, how do you get to be in something like this? Well, there is no degree level required for this. There's no degree level required for this job, and the only thing they kind of would like you to have is a master's in dance, which key skills to getting this is obviously you have to go to an accredited dance school like Juilliard, and the key skills required to be a professional ballerina is creativity, teamwork, and persistence. Additional requirements are balance, knowledge of dance techniques, and physical stamina. So Jane Navarro, the director of Juilliard, says that what they don't tell you is that you should start your child off at the age of 3, and that's the only way they will have a fighting chance in this industry. They have to live, breathe, and feel for dance. Oh, and also it actually costs about $38,000 annually to send your child to a prestige competitive school, which the $38,000 consists of them actually living there on campus. So these kids actually get to go home for holidays, and that's it. And that's kind of only maybes, because usually they schedule their recitals close to holidays, so not even all of them leave. For example, Juilliard is the #1 ranked school, and they have intensive summer programs. The summer programs are 3 weeks. So this is what I was talking about. Most of these kids start off really young. So these kids in this one are 5, those are 3, and they end up like this later if they stay in the intensive training programs. So the summer dance programs for Juilliard, it's basically for the most advanced students. They apply to get into this summer program for 3 weeks, and it's targeted for ages 15 through 17. and international students are welcome to apply. The program is designed to give young dancers a taste of what Juilliard is all about. And there's only 44 kids that are allowed into the program, and over 250 try out. And you can either do like a video to send your application in, or you can go in person, and it's a 2-hour process if you want to stand in line and wait to apply for the program. The application process is 2 hours, and the fee is $40. And for just the 3 weeks, it's $1,500. And the workouts consist of 8-hour training sessions to enhance choreography and skills. So every day they're there for 8 to 10 hours, so they hardly sleep. The chances of actually making a school after this program, so most of the kids that do the 3-week program are trying to apply for the school in the fall. So less than 25% of them actually do make it in the fall, so that's about 11 kids that actually get into the school in the fall, because they already have like 80 to 100 dancers, and you're only allowed to stay in the program for 2 years. At Juilliard, they only have a two-year dance program. And after the 2 years, you will most likely enter a prestige ballet company like the one we talked about earlier. And if you don't enter one of them, then your dance career is over, basically from there, after paying all this. The salary of a professional dancer, they start off with $65,000, and the maximum they reach is $90,000. And some of you kind of wonder, like, okay, why is it so high? But the average career span is 6 years, and the maximum is 10. So the oldest recorded ballerina was 37, which is kind of sad to say, but so much money into it. So today I highlighted the history of American ballet and the process of becoming a professional dancer.
All right, Jessica, your attention device is basically your purpose statement, and I think that you need to have something a little bit more interesting to pull us in at the beginning. Your thesis statement, that was relatively clear, and I did like the sort of the goal that you had set up for us, what we're going to talk about, but there's no preview of what the structure is going to be. It sounds like you're going to do kind of a historical review of ballet and how it developed here in the United States. And you get to that partially, but that's only part of what the speech ultimately is about in the long run. And it just feels like you're sort of changing the focus during the presentation. And I think that that may be, something that could be fixed by adjusting the preview a little bit and maybe altering the thesis statement to accommodate some of those differences. On the delivery issues, you basically are immobile when it comes to your body position. You're in the one spot the whole time until it's time to show the slides, and then you do move a little bit because you have to kind of step forward, but you're not really engaging the audience while you're doing that. That's just kind of a mechanical movement that you're making. The same thing when it comes to gestures. There are some limited indicators here, but again, that's mostly an indication that we should be paying attention to what's up on the screen. Your facial expressions and eye contact, your expressions, look, there are 2 or 3 times during the course of the presentation when you break and you actually look like you're talking to us. And I think you're fine when you're doing that. Problem is you just don't do that very often. Mostly you're reading, you're looking down at your page, you're thinking about what you're going to say next, and you just kind of forget that we're here. And you don't want to do that. Your focus should be on the audience instead of on the page that's going on there. And that really detracts a lot. You plan the visuals pretty well. You had a lot of material. Some of the quotes are up there, they're long, and then you read them on top of that. If you could avoid that, that would be okay. I'm not sure that you need to have the quotes on the slides since you are saying them out loud. You could probably leave them off. I'm not sure why it is. I guess people haven't practiced with it or everything, but you're left clicking or right clicking and then having to hit next. You shouldn't have to do that with the slides. Usually if you just click on the left button, it goes to the next slide. That's just a little technical thing. Hopefully that's something that won't be a problem in the future. You've got the big script in both of your hands, which also limits your gestures a little bit. Your voice drops out sometimes. I think you could use a little bit more volume. You know what? I'm not French. I'm not sure if the English pronunciation is ballet, but it sounded weird to me every time you said ballet. I've always heard ballet, and so it's more like the French ending rather than an English ending. So that would be something that you would want to look into, because if it's really supposed to be pronounced ballet, every time you say ballet, it's going to grate on somebody who is familiar with this. The pacing, I think there are a few places where it sounds very regular when you're reading, and it's obvious that you're reading at that particular point. And again, that's one of those places where a little bit of practice, the notes out of your hands, just talking to us would be better off. Let's see. Look, I thought that there was pretty good research in the material, and you had some interesting information. The cost of becoming a ballet dancer, the work that they have to put in, the longevity of their career. I think you did a nice job kind of setting all that stuff up in the last section of the speech. I think you've adequately discouraged anybody in here from ever thinking about having a child do ballet. There you go.